But doesn't it come to something, Matt, when our centre half is our biggest goal threat in the whole game? He scores the goal, he hits the crossbar, and he
Forces a 30-yard save as
30
well.
yards off. That is a centre half, and he's our biggest goal threat. That's a worry, isn't it?
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue, and we've just got back from the Boxing Day game at St.Andrews where Birmingham City drew 1-1 with Derby County, and it was a game overall that lacked that real level of quality from both teams. And I think we'll look back at the end of the season, and that was two mid-table teams getting a point from that game. So Dad, we just got back, had a couple of nice beers, freezing cold. What are your thoughts on the game?
Merry Christmas to everybody first. Obviously, it's Boxing Day at the moment. It was a strange game in as much as we expected, dominated possession. It was Derby County. They play out of possession all the time. And apart from their goal, they offered very, very little. It's a game we should have won, particularly as they were down to 10 men. And if you look at the stats as well, I mean, it says that we had 9 shots on target. And there were some good chances in there, but we just didn't have that clinical edge up front, did we? We never really look like we are a team that is capable of scoring goals from good chances.
But what did we say on the pre-podcast video, Dad? We said Derby County fans will not care coming to St Andrews and we have 95% possession. If they come away with a point or a win, who cares?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happened. We didn't play pretty football. They didn't offer much either. And they've gone away with a point.
Yeah.
And how many times again, Dad, are we going to say lack of killer instinct, that lack of ability to put teams away? I think going forward, we don't offer very much in terms of, it's side to side. There's a lack of tempo. The decision making sometimes off. And I think it's becoming a pattern now. It is becoming a thing. And, we can get into the goals in a minute and the red cards in a minute. But overall, Dad, I thought the game was a bit flat, lacking a bit of dynamism. I said in the intro deliberately about a lack of quality from both teams. But I think that second half, from my perspective, from a Blues supporter, Dad, it was difficult in terms of that. There was just that, you mentioned there, we hit the bar, we had chances. There was, it was that lack of killer instinct. And I thought in the first half, we played all right for the first sort of 20 minutes. And then they scored their goal. Obviously, the red card happens and the game sort of changes the dynamics, I guess, of some point. But the second half for me was just that. We should have put them away.
Yeah, I think Chris Davis will argue that, I mean, firstly, it was a massive improvement, which was always going to be from Sheffield United and what we've seen away from home. What we saw today, no lack of effort from the players. I mean, they put the effort in. And Chris Davis would argue in this game, and I know you don't like stats, Matt, and I know you're not a big fan of stats, but 25 shots and 9 on target suggests that we created something at least going forward. Although I completely agree with your points about some of those 9 shots on target were the daisy cutters from Patrick Roberts in the first half. They were statistically shots, but they weren't good chances. I mean, we could argue that Dimmy hit the post in the first half. Robinson, who I thought was excellent, by the way, he hit the crossbar towards the end, and he scored our goal. Arguably, he was statistically our biggest goal threat, wasn't he? And he's a central defender.
Yeah. Say something, doesn't it, though, when Jack Robinson is your biggest threat on goal?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I think if you look at the disappointment we had when we watched the Sheffield United game and see how we played or didn't play in that game, and you look at this, and we were at home, we did impose ourselves. We knew that we'd be out of possession because stats showed us that. We said that in the preview podcast as well. It's just going forward, we on another day, some of those crossbars would have gone in, those posts would have gone in, and
would have gone in though.
Well,
this is a pattern for Blues. How many times have we sat in this podcast and said, on another day, in a different game it goes in? How many chances are we going to create and the ball doesn't go in? I think we have a problem scoring goals.
It's a fair point, isn't it, really? And really, realistically, we should have won that game. We should have won it. I mean, Derby at 27% possession, which because they're happy sitting out the ball. But besides their goal, what did they actually create? I mean, absolutely nothing.
But that is a DNA of John Eustace and his teams, isn't it, Dad? Again, in the pre-video, we said about counter-attacks, we said about corners, dead ball situations. We said about the DNA of a John Eustace team and a Derby team, and they proved that their goal was a counter-attack.
Yeah.
They looked dangerous. But when Derby did look dangerous, or when they had a few chances, it was from corners and set pieces and long balls.
We say this a lot, Matt, don't we? That's a disappointing goal to concede.
But this is
well, actually, I think linked to that before that. I just want to get your thoughts on the starting lineup. So Beadle came back in for Allsop, which was a bit of a surprise because we thought he was still injured. And does that say something about what Chris Davis thinks about of Allsop? Obviously, clearly, he's picked or brought back Beadle straight back in again. Cashin came in at left back. We know we got a problem at left back because Alex Cochrane is injured, and that allowed. This was a surprise for me. Jack Robinson went in at centre half, and Neumann was put to the bench, and obviously Dux came back in again. Williamson started, didn't he, against Sheffield United? So those were the changes. But the biggest surprise for me was to see Robinson in that centre half position instead of Neumann.
Well, as it was, that was the best tactical decision he made because Robinson was arguably our best player.
I think
Jack Robinson and Patrick Roberts, for me, between those two were our best players because Patrick Roberts was the only one who looked dangerous every time he got the ball, and Jack Robinson was just that safe, steady, solid centre half, and also posed himself going forward as well. So I thought Jack Robinson had a good game. I thought Paddy Roberts had a good game. But coming back to the choices, Dad, I think Cashin isn't a left back. And I think when Dimmy went off and it was Cashin and Kumas on the left-hand side, why is Cashin getting balls in the box? Why isn't Kumas getting balls in the box? I thought on our left-hand side going forward, after Dimmy went off, we were really poor.
Yeah, Kumas
in fact,
was poor.
Their goal came from a failed Kumas cross on their right-hand side. He lobs it forward. They go down that right side. He crosses it in and Aubameyang puts it in. But the point is, our delivery and our service from, in particular, the left-hand side was poor today.
Yeah.
And again, I know I've just picked up on a few themes and parts there that you're probably going to want to expand on. But what I will say as well is, what is wrong with us with when we attack crosses? Whenever we get balls in the box from corners, from set pieces, stuff, we don't look right when we attack the ball.
Yeah, it's almost like pointless making a cross, really, because they're going either going too high, or they're going to nobody, or they're going to a player that is small or not big enough and able to compete. Because you've got to bear in mind, in the penalty area, when you're putting crosses into the opposition box, you're up against really tall centre halves. Their job is to clear the ball.
Especially Derby, Dad. Their bread and butter is clearing balls in the box. Their bread and butter is clearing set pieces and doing all these things.
But do you remember that too? Because we could obviously for this game for the first time, me and Matt were sat in the Upper Gill Merrick for the very first time because my daughter Jo and my wife went to the game and they had seats in the Tilton, didn't they? And we were right at the very top, right in the corner, just above the away fans. So we had a perfect view. But what do you think about that free kick that Mark Leonard put in?
Oh, it was beautiful. And no one attacked it.
It was an absolutely wonderful free kick from the right-hand side, curled inwards, and it was just begging for someone just to run in and knock it in, and we absolutely had nobody there.
We don't look right from set pieces, Dad. We don't look right. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing on the training ground. And again, this is a theme that we've picked up on quite a lot over the course of the last, X amount of games and season, you could argue. But we just don't look right when we attack set pieces. Something's missing. No one's throwing themselves at the back post. No one's going for it. And I think partly that is because of our height and physicality. We're not that kind of team. If you look at Aubameyang, for them, he was causing us no end of bother up front, just with his physicality.
Yeah,
I thought Klarer was quite poor today. We can come to his red card in a minute, but Aubameyang was causing him all sorts of problems because of his physicality. We don't really have that.
He's a proper target man.
He's a proper target man.
You need that as well, because if you've got a target man that you can ping the ball up, then he can hold the ball up, and that allows other players to join the attack and give you further options. We really haven't got that. I think there's a lot wrong up front, I do, because I think we are making the wrong decision. So we're crossing to players that aren't there. We're not making players are not getting the ball when they're making intelligent runs. And we just seem to sort of slow the tempo down at the wrong time when we need to increase the tempo. The only one I thought that looked really, really good going forward, they're not really, really good, but looked a proper threat, as always, is Patrick Roberts. He looked like he wanted to go past players. He looked like he wanted to go forward. He looked
Dimmy
good.
when he was on.
And Dimmy was injured, wasn't he, after 15 minutes, Matt? And again, I just wanted to talk about this point before we move on, because Kumas came on, didn't he, for Dimmy. But the problem with Kumas is that he doesn't get there's no cross, or he gets tackled, or there's no real output from him. And obviously, he got substituted. So the substitute got substituted, didn't he, in the second half? And I think that might sort of tell its own story, really, about what Chris Davis thought. Because if you come on as a sub and you're not productive and you get taken off, nobody wants to be a substituted sub, do they?
Yeah.
And, but what do you do if Dimmy's injured?
This might sound like a complete paradox, Dad, but Kumas does a lot with the ball while doing nothing with the ball. And what I mean by that is he's doing these little touches, these little ones, but he's not going anywhere. He doesn't beat his man. He doesn't get the ball in the box. And I don't want this to turn into a Kumas bashing session here, but, there is something to be said when you notice it so much when Dimmy comes off, how poor we are on the left-hand side, and he's doing these little dinks, little nudges, but he doesn't do anything with it, and his final delivery is really poor. And the final delivery ended up in Derby's first goal. That's how they caught us on
well,
the counter.
Just before that, Matt, we had that fantastic chance while Dimmy was on. He was played played a fantastic, wonderful cutting ball, which we need to do more of that, don't we? And because,
Beautiful ball that was.
Yeah, it was a wonderful ball. And because Dimmy's got the pace, you can do it with Dimmy and put a ball through to him. He was unlucky. I mean, he did the right things. He went through and he hit the post. So obviously, and then not long after that, he got injured and he was off, and everyone's thinking, "Oh no, oh my word!" And we've got a lot of games coming up in a short period of time, so we'll have to see what happens with that. So I think after this game as well, which we'll talk about obviously in the next podcast when we look at the preview for the Southampton game, I think Chris Davis has got a lot of selection headaches now because of injuries and suspensions.
So, Dad, you mentioned a little minute ago about the lineup. I just want to come back to that as well, because we spoke about Cashin, we spoke about Robinson. I think Dux and Stano are the wrong way around as well. I think Stano needs to be in the 9 and Dux needs to be in the 10. They look disjointed. We look disjointed when those are in the wrong positions. And again, Dad, if we're going to call it, Dux, for me, in his first couple of games, I thought he looked fantastic. Little touches, little nudges, link-up play, passing it out wide. You know, I thought he was the missing piece to our jigsaw in that number 10 position. Yeah. And I think, I'm just going to call it, I think he's gone off the boil.
Yeah, it's
really
so clear.
Poor.
So clear to see. I think as well that it's clear that Chris Davis doesn't know what to do with Stano. Stano, in my opinion, is an out-and-out number 9. So when he brings on Lyndon Dykes and Kyogo, he sticks him on the left.
Yeah, I know.
Now, we saw him play on the left a few times in League One last season, didn't we? But Stano is an out-and-out number 9, and he has to stay as an out-and-out number 9. So clearly, I think Chris Davis was chasing the game. So having Kyogo, Lyndon Dykes and Stano on 3 strikers was a purposeful thing to try. But I think it's what do you do? So if you don't put Stano out wide, where does he go? I agree with you. He's not a number 10. Chris Davis, in a recent, I think it was a post-match, or maybe it might even been a pre-match interview, said that Stano can play at number 10.
I disagree.
I don't see. I think he's much more productive as a number 9, but he needs a good number 10 behind him.
100%.
Because at the moment he's just completely lost, isn't he? You know, he puts his usual effort in, Stano. You know, he tries his hardest. He'll run around, but he's not that clinical striker because he's not got the support that he needs to provide the opportunity for him to put it in the back of the net.
But the number 10 position is so key to going forward. And again, Dad, we spoke about it on the podcast. Blues fans talk about it in social media and comments. You know, we look flat going forward. We run out of ideas quickly. We're too predictable. The number 10 is so key to the way you go at teams. You know, they unlock, they go wide, they go forward. You know, we get stuck in this side-to-side horseshoe all the time. I think if we had a killer number 10 who drove with the ball at their feet, tried to unlock, I think that would make a massive difference. We haven't got a killer number 10.
No, I completely agree. I mean, their goal, Matt, we've got to talk about their goal. I mean, as always, you know, well, not always, but we concede an awful lot of goals when we're on the attack and we get caught out by pace. It was pace. Pace did it. I think it was Brewster that went down on the right. Basically looped the ball into Agyemang, and he just headed it in. I mean, disappointing because you know we clearly we were on the attack.
On the attack,
yeah. But having said that, though, any decent team should have defenders that are capable of accommodating that type of attack. It was very disappointing. I mean, they went 1-0 up, and literally, I honestly, even driving back in the car, Matt, I was thinking, apart from their goal, what did they actually do? I don't see how that team is possibly one of the best away records in this league. Not based upon. I know that they'll argue they were down to 10 men. I get that, but they were really poor. But it was typical John Eustace type of that we got used to, didn't we?
They got a point.
Yeah,
that's all that matters, isn't it? It's a results-based business. They got a point. They clearly pick up points on the road. You've not got to play pretty, but they are capable of winning. They're capable of getting points on the road, and that's what Derby do. I agree, Dad. I think Derby were poor, generally speaking. As I said, I'm not saying Derby were poor, and you know we were this outstanding team. I thought, for quality purposes, it was a poor game of football.
It was
from
a
poor
game.
From both teams here. But yeah, you're right, Dad. How they have got the 3rd best away league record. You know, it is a typical Eustace trait, isn't it? It's to grind out those results away from home. And you know, they are set up quite well in terms of they are happy for you to have the ball. They were just watching us go side to side through many parts of the second half. They were just watching, waiting for their moment to go through. They were down to 10 men, so of course that made it a little bit more challenging for them. And let's not forget that, Dad. In the second half, we were playing a 10-man Derby team.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that, Blues fans.
That's what disappoints me. Is that we were at home with a really, really good home record against 10 men, and we ended up getting a draw. I thought. I mean, were we unlucky because we did hit the bar, hit the post, but then that happens in football. The fact is, it was final score: Birmingham City 1, Derby 1, and we get a point each. And you can't change that. You know, that's what it was. So whether we was unlucky or whether we were not unlucky, we didn't take the opportunity to beat 10 men at home. And
Blues won Charlton one, Dad. Blues won Derby one. It doesn't matter how many times can we sit on this podcast and say we missed chances, we hit the post, we haven't got that killer instinct. We've walked away now with 2 points out of 6 my last 2 home games.
Yeah.
In games when I think we should have won.
Yeah.
And it's not good enough in terms of, it's that killer instinct, it's that going at teams, it's again in that second half, Dad, just side to side.
Yeah.
Do many parts of it, and he was like, guys, get the ball. Why weren't we going through the middle a little bit more?
I don't know.
There was big gaps in the middle of the park in between. To be fair, I forgot his name. Their number 16, I think it was, their centre mid. Was it Liam something? I can't remember exactly. Liam Thompson, I think his name is.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's a really good player, actually.
Yeah,
he was aggressive. He was breaking up play. He was getting stuck in. He was doing what I wanted our players to do, win the second ball. And again, he was doing quite nice link-up play. I thought he had a good game. But, there was gaps in the middle of the park that we weren't exploiting. And again, coming on to that theme, that I was disappointed with our ability to pick up the second ball, to go at them a little bit more, be a bit more aggressive, especially as the home team. But overall, I'm going to take away from this game that it's that lack of being able to put teams away again.
Well, I mean, their goalkeeper made a few good saves as well.
Yeah,
as well as the crossbar on the post. We had that one from Robinson as well. It was about 30 yards out. And we was actually right by him within the Gilmerick, wasn't we? And we literally saw that, and it was going in. It was a good save. And then that one a little bit later when Paik, from inside the box hit it, and he just put a leading arm up and just got it, and he fell back to him. So we did have our chances, and we did, and I think that's what was encouraging, because everybody felt so flat after the Sheffield United performance, and you got to expect that we were going to be better than that. But it's disappointing that we should have got 3 points in this game. I think for Derby County, that, like you said, Matt, they won't give a hoot. They'll be happy with the point.
Obviously, Dad, we've spoken about the Derby goal. Obviously, our goal was a long ball at the back post. Jack Robinson's there, kind of a bit scrappy, weren't it? He kind of leaned over their centre half or their centre mid, and then it kind of went down, and then he kind of it was a scrappy goal at the back post, basically.
Scrappy goal, and obviously the referee got the buzz on his watch to say that the whole of the ball. And when you look back at it, it was over. It did go over the line as well. But doesn't it come to something, Matt, when our centre half is our biggest goal threat in the whole game? He scores the goal, he hits the crossbar, and he
forces a 30-yard save.
30 yards off. That is a centre half, and he's our biggest goal threat. That's a worry, isn't it? If you think about it. And Kyogo came on. Samsted came on as well, didn't he? He brought Samsted on, but Chris David did say that all players will get a chance. So Samsted
again, Dad, if I'm going to call it at left back, I think Samsted looks a lot more natural than Cashin does. Samsted did come on right back, but I'd rather, in my opinion, for Southampton, see Cashin at left back. Sorry, Samsted at left back.
Yeah, and Kyogo again, Matt. Everyone's still hoping he's going to get that elusive goal, but a couple of, like you mentioned a few times when you've spoken about Kyogo, you mentioned, is he off the pace? Well, a couple of times he had the ball and he got tackled really easily. So when really a good, strong striker with confidence, he's going to go through and get a goal scoring chance. The final thing, Matt, and we will obviously conclude the podcast, is the Klarer sending off.
What was he doing, Dad? This really annoyed me. What are you doing at that part of the pitch, at that part of the game, putting your foot up that high?
92nd minute.
He should know better than that. He should know better than that. Yeah. And now he misses Southampton, Watford and Coventry, 3 massive games for us. Yeah. I think Chris Davies, if he hasn't, he should give him a bit of a rollicking for that, just from his decision-making there. Because what is he doing? What planet is he on?
I don't know. I didn't think he was great, actually. I think last season and this season, he's probably been our most consistent player.
I'd agree with that.
But in this game, he lost a few. He was second best in a few headers, and he was getting bullied a little bit
by Agyemang.
Yeah, by Agyemang. And to do that at the end as well is major. And our captain as well. Just very disappointing that he got sent off. Like you say, it's the implications for the next games that are the worry. We'll address that when we look at the preview podcast for Southampton in a few days' time. But Dad, in the
interest of fairness, of course, Derby had a man sent off as well, 2 yellow cards. What were your thoughts on those?
It was very early on, wasn't it? Well, he had first. This is why it's silly, he was wasting time in the first half, and he took the ball when we had a free kick, and he got booked for that. And then he basically was chasing Patrick Roberts down, wasn't he? And Patrick Roberts was going through, even though there were defenders around, so it would never have been an automatic red. But because he'd already had the yellow, it was a clear yellow. It was off. I don't see what the argument.
I think Patrick Roberts did him a treat there. Like, if you go across a player and the ref's that side and you go down, it's a yellow card every day. So he's played the game. He's got him a second yellow. Yeah. And I didn't hear many complaints from the Derby team or the Derby fans. Everyone accepted that was the red card. just like everyone accepted the Klarer one.
Well, it was a yellow, but it was backed up by
Yes.
the first yellow, so it was a 2 yellows
Sending
and a
off,
red.
absolutely.
And what I would say, Matt, and this will be my final comment for this podcast, I think Chris Davis has got a selection problem now with the suspensions and the injuries. We don't know the extent of Dimmer's injury or Cochrane's injury. We know that Klarer is suspended. So we are going to be light in certain areas. And, I'm a bit concerned about the depth of what we'll bring in the squad from what I've seen. So particularly against quality teams like Southampton and Watford and Coventry. They're tough 3 games. But we'll address that. But overall, yes, positive, we got a point. Negatives, we should have won against 10 men and we had the chances to do so. But you know what? It's football. It moves quickly and we'll have to move on with it.
I'd say in the last 2 home games, Dad, we've dropped 4 points there, in my opinion. From Charlton and Derby.
Yeah,
so as you say, we'll take the point, of course. We keep moving. But a disappointing Boxing Day from my perspective.
I think so.
But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you like this video specifically, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can watch or listen to us over there as well. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell icon so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.